Good afternoon, and you're all very welcome to the KTI Impact Awards 2021. Unfortunately, we can't all be together in the same room, but we have got the next best thing, and we've got a fantastic awards ceremony lined up for you. So sit back and relax, but you might have to do a few things because there's some housekeeping things that I want to tell you about. It's part of the virtual world that I'm sure you all know inside out by now. But if you look at your screens, there is a discussion forum there, and located on the right hand side of the screen, you click on the discussion forum tab and type your comments on the box. Please let us know your thoughts about the nominees and winners. No trolling, please, but I'm sure you're all well above that anyway. And feel free to chat with your colleagues as well and peers as we go through today's event. You'll also see a poll tab. That's located on the right-hand side of the screen above the discussion forum. The poll will become available during the People's Choice Award category, which we'll be talking about a little bit later on. You'll also see there a live support function. You can basically contact the support team by clicking on the red avatar or icon located on the top right-hand side of the platform if you have any technical difficulties or anything like that. And also from a social media point of view, there's the hashtag. Any of you using social media today, please feel free to include our hashtag KTI Awards during the event. Well, I'm delighted to open the event. We're joined by Untitled Leo Varadkar.
Good afternoon. Innovation underpinned by research and development has become a fundamental driver of the Irish economy. As we look ahead beyond the challenges of the last 18 months, the spirit of innovation to solve real-world problems will be more important than ever. The world-class research and expertise available to businesses from our higher education institutions is an invaluable resource that can help catalyse innovation and bring about real benefits to business, as well as wider economic and societal impacts. My department remains committed to ensuring that these resources are readily accessible by business that are looking to innovate. We know that companies who collaborate with third level perform better. In a competitive labour and economic market, an accessible knowledge transfer system can be what sets Ireland apart from our peers. The Enterprise Ireland Technology Transfer Strengthening Initiative, managed by Knowledge Transfer Ireland, or KTI, is delivering real results in this regard. Levels of collaboration between industry and our public research system are promising, with the number of collaborative research projects increasing every year. Since KTI began reporting on system performance in 2014, over 214 new products and services have been brought to market as a result of companies accessing technology and ideas from research. And this is complemented by the consistent creation of new spin-out companies, with another 30 established last year alone. Alongside this, 9 companies that originated as university spin-outs were acquired with the retention of high-quality jobs in Ireland. Today is about celebrating the work of the higher education and innovation offices around the country and their role in helping to transform academic research into commercial impact. Encouraging to me is that only a fraction of the outcomes achieved across the system is on show today, underpinning how strong our knowledge transfer sector is and the value of our investment in research and innovation. So I'd like to congratulate KTI on highlighting the value of the work done across the country to promote research, commercialisation and collaboration with the third level sector. The finalists shortlisted for the KTI Impact Awards are impressive examples, and I commend you all, and of course all the people involved in making innovation happen. So congratulations to all of you shortlisted for an award today. I wish you the very best of luck and look forward to seeing the continued growth of knowledge transfer in Ireland. Thank you very much.
Many thanks to the tarnished Leo Varadkar there. Well, I'm joined by 2 people in studio that I'm going to have a chat with, and I'm sure they may well be very familiar to you. Alison Campbell of KTI and John O'Donoghue of NBio. You're both very welcome to the studio. Alison, if I could put it to you first, tell us a little bit about the KTI Awards, how they came about and why they're important?
Well, you know, the KTI Awards are very special to me. You know, one of our roles in Knowledge Transfer Ireland is to really help encourage industry and make it easier for companies to access the great research and expertise that's going on in the third level. And the awards is a really, I think, high impact way of showing some of the real benefits that can come out of that kind of work and that kind of access. Of course, it's not the only way. We have other routes such as the KTI webinars, which drill down into detail. But the awards, I think, are special. And they're special because it's also just a lovely opportunity to actually showcase some of the great stuff that is coming out of our universities and our colleges. And actually, you know, kind of really seeing how's this early stage opportunity, how's that being transformed and being transformed by companies so that they can be delivering new products, new services. And I guess what you get to see with the awards is how that's having an impact on real people, you know, whether it be health, whether it be the way that we do work, and certainly it's around the creation of new jobs. So very special to me.
Last year, Alison, you were saying that, you know, the awards were going from strength to strength. At the same time, it's been a very challenging 18 months for everybody. What sort of differences are you seeing with the kinds of winners that are coming through?
Well, you're absolutely right there, Richard, when you say it's been a challenging time, and nobody would deny it. But what has been surprising, and as the Taoiseach has said, is actually just the level of interaction that's still been happening with companies and the third level. And our data last year that we published in the AKTS just showed that, in fact, there'd been an increase in 2020. Now, this year, it's plateaued a little, but I'm still surprised at the levels of interest. And the challenge will be, you know, can that be sustained? And that's just looking at where we're at now. In terms of the awards, you know, what we're seeing with the awards really is the outputs of actually many years of effort and investment, both by the researchers and the research base and by the companies themselves. It's success, but it's success that's not created overnight. And that hasn't actually changed from previous years. But I guess one of the things that we have seen this year, particularly across the submissions as well as the winners, is just the variety, and the variety in terms of the disciplines, and also the variety in terms of the kinds of companies and users of those outputs, which is just terrific to see.
John, you're CEO of NBio, and you were the winner of KTI's Collaborative Research Award in 2018 for your work with UCD. At the time, I believe you said NBio wouldn't have got to where it is without the work with UCD. Tell us a bit about the company, what you do, and maybe remind our audience a little bit of the work that you did with UCD that won the award.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks to KTI for the award in 2018, that has to be said. What NBio kicked off doing in 2006 was putting materials on metals for going into the body. We were putting bone onto orthopedic and dental implants, so that the natural bone would grow onto the metal and fix those implants in the body properly. And we come up with a new technology with which to do that. And we worked for a long time with the medical device sector, but it was difficult to get in. The European Space Agency heard about us a couple of years into our, I suppose, after forming. And they asked us, could we work on titanium, which is a metal that goes into the body, and put down coatings on it that might be suitable for space, and particularly space around the sun, where the environment will be very, very tough for any type of material interaction. So we started to work with them in 2010. We moved up to UCD in 2011, and instantly everything changed because we had the university at our back. To the point that the European Space Agency held 3 design reviews in Nova UCD for the solar orbiter mission to the sun. They were really impressed with the university company interaction, and like we instantly looked bigger because of the university at our back, particularly the mechanical engineering department. And I was a mechanical engineer out of UCD myself, so I had that insight into what they did. But from that point on, the European Space Agency asked us to do more and more and more. And if we were in an industrial estate in a town on our own, there's no way we could have taken on those interactions. So, for example, we started to put ceramics onto metal. And, you know, Ken Stanton in the mechanical engineering department in UCD was an expert on ceramics. So I had access to him. But it wasn't just access to him. I built a relationship with him, and like we're friends to this day. So a big part of it for me is developing relationships and having a solid umbilical cord into the university sector. And from that
and
time
obviously,
since,
John, you've had that collaboration with UCD, a very successful collaboration.
Yes, yeah.
What advice would you have for other companies, you know, looking at collaborating like that?
Well, first thing is not to be afraid, and the second thing I would say is that, you know, you need to be accessing that research base. You need to be accessing the universities and the state agencies and both of them together, and looking at the funding that they have on offer, looking at the expertise, looking at the equipment that the colleges have that you can't afford to have yourself in your business. But I'll say it again, to me the most important thing is the relationship, because growing a business is lonely, and it's full of, you know, trip hazards and cliff edges and a whole lot. Like, whereas if you have people to talk to and you know what the next thing coming down the track is, because they will have sight of that ahead of a small company, then you have an advantage over the competition.
You mentioned there about the early days of the business. You were looking at bone, then you're out into space. Tell us a bit about the company now, and how have things been for the business since winning the award in 2018?
Well, unfortunately, COVID has come in between, and that's been difficult because the space sector, to a large extent, went into hibernation. So, you know, cash flow has been a problem in that period of time. But we didn't lose time over COVID-19. We've been working on new technologies. Our base technology, Coblast, allows us to change the surface of metals for a variety of different functions. So we've been working on our Teflon coatings for non-stick or release properties for molding elastomers and rubbers. And also then on our adhesion technology, our adhesion technologies, which we developed with the help of a H2020 funding between 2017 and 2019, and then starting to scale that and you know, make it ready for the market since. So like we've used the time productively, but again, in constant interaction with the colleges, all of and like you know, UCD is the one where we have the most profile with, but we work with all of the colleges because of the expertise that's there that we can tap into.
So you have obviously continued to do those collaborations
Yes.
with colleges. How important and valuable have those relationships been?
Well, our technology is a horizontal technology, and we couldn't delve into the other areas without that vertical know-how. So like if we go into adhesion, we're dealing with you know, the people in what was DIT, because of their level of expertise in surfacing metals for paint and glues. When we go to release, you know, we've been working with a variety of colleges who understand how Teflon works and you know, fluoropolymers in general. We still have a lot going on in the medical arena. We've been putting graphite on stents. So, you know, Trinity College is an expert in graphite, but Dublin City University is an expert on nitinol. So, you know, we're dealing with colleges. We reach in and tap into what we need at that moment in time when we need it. Or maybe a little bit ahead, actually, so that it's on tap when we need it. Yeah.
Alison, it's great to hear how successful and how helpful those collaborations have been, hasn't it?
It certainly is, and I'm just sitting here smiling. I'm thinking, you know, what a terrific ambassador John is for the system, and how fantastic it is that he's been able to navigate his way around that. And I just love it when I hear about repeat business, because it's you know, John's actually not unique here. There's many companies, I think, that once they start to work with the colleges and see what's available to them, and very much as John says, you know, begin to develop relationships, they move on to further engagements with the same college or with different ones. And I think, you know, just as you were saying, John, that very first step can sometimes be a little bit daunting. Yeah. But I think once it's made, it works really well. And I think very much to John's point, you know, there's people out there and there's a lot of funding supports that are available that can really make it easy for companies to engage. And there's nothing nicer to me than to see, you know, some of these very sort of early stage projects and then see how they begin to flourish in the right kind of an environment.
And Alison, you know, these awards are about acknowledging and celebrating the impact of many of these projects. Just tell us a little bit about that impact.
Absolutely. Well, the impact is broad, and you know the impacts themselves can be anything from have we created new jobs, have we got a new collaboration that really helps a company with its processes or products and getting them nearer to market. And in terms of the awards themselves, we've got three categories which we'll be seeing shortly. So one of them is the commercialisation award, and there the impacts we're looking for are in the areas of licensing out new technologies to existing companies, or the creation of new spin-out companies and what they can deliver, you know, through their own endeavours. We've got an engagement award, which is looking at collaboration, both in terms of research collaboration and also in terms of the consultancy advice that is available from the researchers within the colleges who can reach out to industry and indeed other users. And we've also got a new award category this year, which we've called Future Forward. And that's for those opportunities that actually have gone quite a long way, but still have a little bit further to go to release that really big impact, but are making really good progress and have got bags of potential.
And the judges were particularly impressed?
The judges were impressed. You know, I think it's lovely. It's a super opportunity, these awards, to bring in people from Irish industry, international folk who are professionals within the knowledge transfer and commercialisation field, and give them the opportunity to take a look at what we're doing across the system here in Ireland, and to see their reactions. And for many, it's the first opportunity that they've had to really look across the piece and see, I think, a combination of both breadth and depth. And this year, as ever, they have come away, I think, impressed about what we're doing and what we're achieving in the country. And also when they've looked at the individual submissions, they've been pretty impressed with those. And again this year, they've said, you know, they do stack up internationally with what they're seeing elsewhere. And that's just great.
Absolutely. Alison and John, thank you very much. And we're going to hear a little bit more from our judging panel on their thoughts on the submissions that they received this year and their thoughts on the importance of these awards.
The KTI Awards are important because it's an opportunity to just press pause, to have a look at some of the great stuff that's been happening in the knowledge transfer area.
Awards like the KTI Impact Awards are really important. It provides a link between industry and academia and shines a light on the work that's being done in terms of commercializations.
It brings out the knowledge-based development for so many products and services, and also the cooperation between enterprises and universities.
We need celebration time because we jump from challenges to challenges and from technical difficulties to harsh negotiations.
They really provide recognition and showcasing of knowledge transfer success in Ireland between Irish higher education institutions and publicly funding research organizations.
So for these awards, the judging panel was looking for innovation and perseverance from the Tech Transfer Office in moving innovations forward.
We were looking for indicators that showed that there was a true collaboration there and that there were indicators of success from that collaboration. And they didn't necessarily have to be monetary indicators. There were other indicators that we were looking for as well.
And for all the projects, we looked on the TTO involvement and achievements.
We had some really great submissions this year that covered a wide range of areas, both in terms of technologies, in terms of the companies and organisations that they reached, and also in the differences in the institutions that they came from.
So the finalists that got onto the shortlist, we would have seen really in terms of the magnitude of that impact, not just from a scientific perspective or financial perspective, but ecologically and societal impact as well. And along with that, the potential for strong commercial strategy and support.
Based on these submissions, the research system in Ireland has tremendous strengths and breadth of expertise. It's really impressive to see this, and everyone should be appreciative of the work that KTI is doing to bring recognition to these efforts.
It's my first time on this kind of panel, and I was impressed by the quality and the diversity of the project.
Overall, the level of all submissions was really high. It was impressive.
One thing that really came through for me was how important and critical the role of the technology transfer officer had been for the success of this knowledge transfer.
I was really impressed by the huge amount of work being done by the technology transfer officers, and that was really evident in a couple of cases that we reviewed.
You can see very clear steps have been made forward to realising the deep potential that's in the opportunities. So they were all able to identify something really tangible, and as importantly, they were all able to explain very clearly the role that the Tech Transfer Office or Innovation Office has played in helping make that a success.
The collective impact from an Ireland perspective is massive. I love the fact that KTI are putting an emphasis on impact here.
Well, we've heard from the judges, we've heard about the impact that the awards can have and their value and importance, and we've heard firsthand about the value of the collaborations with the educational institutions behind all of this. So, time to get to the 2021 awards themselves. The first category this afternoon is Commercialisation Impact Award. This category calls out exemplars of research commercialisation. Submissions can either relate to impactful spin-out companies founded on academic research or the impact delivered by successful licensing activity from a HEI. And crucially, the role of the Innovation Office or TTO in delivering success must also have been made very clear. So here is our shortlist in this category.
VTEX Medical was formed to solve the problems associated with deep vein thrombosis. Having founded and worked on the BioInnovate program, I came close proximity to many doctors, and one such doctor came to me and told me about this problem that he was having treating patients with deep vein thrombosis.
At this point, we're exploring ways to expand our technology portfolio. Given the success we've had with this project, and working with a university is certainly one of our top options at the moment.
There's been a number of key highlights for the company's successes to date. FDA 510K clearance, CE mark of the device within Europe, successful completion of a first-in-human clinical trial in Europe, and ISO 13485 certification of our quality management system.
This project can bring us additional successes across a number of other areas, at the moment unknown, but we're very much looking forward to deploying it across campus.
The TTO has provided an environment, culture, lab space and equipment. The TTO has also allowed access to a network of highly experienced people. We see this as a critical requirement.
I think it's great to be nominated for this award. It's great that technology transfer offices can get recognition in the role that they deliver in terms of supporting projects and companies to do this.
Winning the award would be a fantastic recognition both for the Innovation Office here at NUI Galway, and I think also recognition for the work that's done in terms of innovation and impact.
This project is about the licensing of 3 late-stage regenerative medicine technologies from Professor Fergal O'Brien's group in RCSI to orthobiologics company Locate Bio. These technologies are for the repair of bone and cartilage and also for the treatment of osteomyelitis.
What the Royal College of Surgeons technologies enabled us to do was really accelerate that path to the market, and that streamlines our regulatory pathway for those products.
Locate Bio have gone on to achieve FDA breakthrough approval status. The company has also recently closed a £10 million funding round.
Academia and industry working together is absolutely essential if you really want to make a difference and you really want to translate a technology from a university research setting into the commercial and clinical arena.
The innovation team at RCSI have been involved in this project from the very start. We helped secure the initial commercialisation funding from Enterprise Ireland, which funded the initial product development, but also we protected the intellectual property through patent filing.
The TTO were very helpful. Not only were they able to help negotiate with contracts, they They were also able to facilitate a transaction between us and the liquidator of a company that had previously worked on some but not all the technologies. Bringing those two things together sped up our learning significantly as well.
It's great to have been nominated for this award. It really validates the efforts that the team have put into commercialising these technologies.
The competition in the current innovative ecosystem that is Ireland is incredibly severe, so it's a real privilege that we made the shortlist this year.
Being shortlisted for this award is clear recognition of the significant opportunity to relieve patient suffering.
The Infosome project, which is a collaboration with the University of Queensland, so there's researchers in Trinity and there's researchers in Queensland, was a spin-out company back when I joined in 2017.
We first began working on this particular molecule in the immune system called NLRP3, which the company Pfizer had discovered. And they didn't know what they had. This was shown to be a very important pro-inflammatory factor for many diseases. Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Crohn's. All these diseases involve NLRP3. And then finally, by about 2013-14, we knew we had something really interesting that could block this particular pathway that might be useful therapeutically.
Infosome didn't have a lab of their own. They relied heavily on commercial contract research. I think having access to Trinity lab facilities through the research agreement was really beneficial for them.
And eventually the big news broke in 2020 when we were told that it was going to be acquired by Roche in one of the biggest acquisitions of a university spin-out.
Roche are the world's #1 drug company, so they were a great partner to take us on board, really. When that deal was done, what you heard about in August of 2020, that was the moment, because we've done it.
As soon as interest started and the larger investments came in, there was a very intense period of work, all strange hours and weekends, and there was an element in New York as well, so trying to manage those 3 time zones within the team. But truth be told, it was great fun doing it.
Being nominated for this award is recognition for how well an agreement like this can work.
And the amount of work we went into this, in my lab, in Trinity, in the TTO, all that stuff was huge. To see that being recognised is quite nice.
Well, there you have it. They're the shortlisted ones for this first category, and I'm going to open up the little envelope here and see who is the winner. And the winner is Royal College of Surgeons Ireland and Locate Bio Limited. And I'm delighted to be joined by Aoife Gallagher, Head of Innovation at RCSI. Aoife, congratulations. The judges here were particularly impressed by the resilience and determination shown by the Innovation Office in getting these technologies to market. They were really impressed also by the success achieved by Locate Bio as a result of having licensed these technologies and how the company is positioned for future growth as a result. You must be delighted. Congratulations.
Thanks, Richard. I'm delighted to accept this award on behalf of RCSI, Professor O'Brien's research group and Locate Bio. Locate have been an excellent partner so far, and we wish them all the best in their continued commercialisation of these technologies, which really do meet an important unmet patient need.
Well, thank you very much, Aoife, and congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Well, it's time to move on to our second award. This is the Industry Engagement Impact Award, Consultancy Collaborative Research. The second category celebrates successful and impactful engagement between industry and academic research. Submissions under this category relate to collaborative research and academic consultancy, with very clear impact having arisen, as well as, of course, a clear and instrumental role played by the Innovation Office, or TTO. And here is the shortlist.
The engagement with Rockley started with one project 4 years ago. It was a feasibility project to establish whether or not Untitled could deliver a specific technology. The relationship has since grown to multiple projects across multiple technology areas.
Rockley Photonics is focused on the biomarkers
in research. We established the Ireland office 3 years ago, and currently we have 7 full-time employees and 2 part-time employees.
Photonic devices, this is the things that manipulate light. As we think of the internet and communications, most people don't realize that this is all done through light. Rockley wanted to extend the reach of photonics much more broadly than I'd even conceived was possible.
Our engagement with Rockley Photonics has been one of the most impactful in the 40-year history of the Tyndall National Institute.
It shows what is happening around UCC and Rockley and what Rockley have helped to create long-term relations with the university.
Academia and industry working together is crucial because it keeps the academics grounded in something that's real. Without the TTO there, I would have just been lost.
It's great for UCC Innovation to be nominated for this award because we see this as a validation of our efforts to enable researchers to see their science being converted into real-life products.
I think it will encourage Rockley to have more connections with the company and encourage Rockley to have more collaborations and maybe more fundings in Ireland.
We've all heard about various types of tests for COVID-19. Some are very slow and accurate, and some are very fast and not terribly accurate. We wanted to develop sensors which were both fast and accurate and cheap.
UCD's collaborative research with Revlar has all the ingredients of success: a disruptive technology, a passionate inventor, and a visionary company.
Initially, our focus was to develop sensors for flu A and B. We realized the pandemic was a very, very serious issue. And then we all decided, well, we'd better try to develop a sensor also for COVID-19. We have developed a technology which we think can be applied all over the place for many different diseases and indeed beyond that.
The company recognized the importance of altruistic terms in the license agreement, and we agreed that the company would provide the test to NGOs and third world countries at cost. It is a really strong collaboration with Revlar, and it has been a pleasure working with both the team and the company to translate this into an exciting new product.
Working with industry has allowed me to develop these new and exciting ideas in the lab, to recruit new people and to realise some of those concepts.
The TTO office has been backing us all the time, consistently.
It's an honour to be nominated. This is a true collaboration between academia and industry. The company is translating this into a valuable test to address COVID.
Professor Mary Burke is one of Ireland's foremost experts in hydromorphology and flooding, and she was approached by the Inishowen Rivers Trust to participate in a natural water retention measure.
Back in 2017, there was a very significant flood. We invited Mary to come up to Inishowen to talk to the community. Mary and her Megafloods team set about doing a desktop-based assessment about what was happening on the rivers in Inishowen and was the landscape suitable for implementing some of these measures.
We're starting to see extreme events, and one happened in Inishowen. It really caught my attention because the devastating effects that happened.
It's the first example of a natural water retention measure to be implemented at scale in Ireland.
The partnership with Trinity has been really important for raising awareness of what we've been doing here in Inishowen.
If we didn't have people like Joanne getting out there to deploy their knowledge and research, I think we'd be missing a huge step to fix real-world problems that they have.
We're delighted to be shortlisted for this award. We're delighted to be able to showcase the positive impact that academic consultancy can have.
The Trust have been delighted to be nominated for this award. It highlights the topic that we're dealing with. It's the importance of natural flood management. The project has absolutely met our expectations. We learned so much about the landscapes in Inishowen, and in particular how to read that landscape.
To have wider recognition as an academic is a new thing for me. I'm absolutely thrilled to be a representative of academia in this.
Well, some really great projects on the shortlist there, and beautiful shots of Trinity College as well. I enjoyed just looking at those. But it's time to find out who the winner is in this category. So I'm going to announce it now. And the winner is University College Cork with IPIC and Rockley Photonics Ireland Limited. Congratulations, and I'm joined by Sally Cudmore, who's Director of Innovation at UCC. And the issue here, I think what really impressed the judging panel was they felt this project deserved recognition due to the enduring nature of the partnership, as well as the very real impact it has delivered. The invaluable role of the Innovation Office was very apparent, and the office had clearly provided support from the outset. Sally, how does it feel to win this award?
Thank you very much, Richard. I mean, what an honour, particularly when you see the excellent other projects that we were running up against. It's a huge, I suppose, acknowledgement of the great project. It started off as a collaboration with the SFI Research Centre, IPIC in Tyndall, has blossomed into 11 licenses, and Rockley has actually set up now Rockley Photonics Ireland based in Tyndall, which really shows how excellent Irish research coming out of UCC can embed companies in the Irish ecosystem, creating jobs here. So thank you very much for this award. We're delighted to accept it on behalf of UCC Innovation, Tyndall and IPIC and Rockley. Thank you.
Well, Sally Cudmore, congratulations and well done once again to you, deserving winners. Well, time for our third award today. This is the Future Forward Impact Award. And as Alison mentioned earlier, this is a new award for 2021, the Future Forward Impact Award, and it recognises projects in commercialisation or engagement that are considered to have strong potential for future impact, but are still at the early stages of development or rollout. As in other categories, they were also looking at the level or support received from the Innovation Office or TTO. And here are the shortlist.
Inclusio is a new spin-out from Dublin City University that has developed a cloud-based software solution that allows enterprises to manage and transform their culture through equality, diversity and inclusion.
I came into Dublin City University 5 years ago to develop and deliver the strategy for diversity and inclusion. What I realised is that there's actually lots of science behind this.
Inclusio have leveraged probably the best that DCU has to offer in computer science, artificial intelligence and psychology. It's widely accepted that companies that embrace diversity do better. So I see lots of companies looking for the very solution that Inclusio have developed.
We spun out in December 2020 and thankfully we had paying customers lined up ready to come on the journey with us.
Sandra converted a lot of the trial customers over to paying clients and raised a significant amount of investment, and the company's going from strength to strength.
The intention is to build a global standard around collecting information and supporting neurodiverse individuals in the workplace.
DCU Invent, the Technology Transfer Office, was involved at every stage.
The TTO office were absolutely invaluable.
I'm delighted that Inclusio has been shortlisted. Inclusio has huge potential. They're expanding their team and they're going after a global market. Companies that deploy the Inclusio software will create a much more supportive, enjoyable work environment for thousands of employees.
The feedback we got is that we are solving one of the most pressing challenges of our time today. To have KTI recognise us for that, for me, is really important.
So the origins of the company really relate to a plan that my co-founder Ian Flitcroft and I came up with about 5 years ago to deal with the global myopia pandemic. Myopia is traditionally understood as just a lifestyle inconvenience, but really is actually a cause of ocular disease and a cause of vision impairment, and the fastest growing cause.
Initially, the aim of the project was to develop a comprehensive database about myopia. Then we wanted to develop this database into a set of tools which would allow clinicians to communicate the risks associated with myopia and the potential benefit of treatment.
It became really clear the market needed these kind of tools that we've been working on. From the time of being launched in early 2020, by the time we finished that year, we were very much into a real company setting.
The company secured its first round of investment, but more importantly, the company secured a major multinational as a first customer.
Our ambition is to make these tools and technologies available all over the world. So the external recognition by CooperVision, who are a major global player in the field of myopia control, is a groundbreaking change for us.
The Technology Transfer Office at TU Dublin were great from the very outset. So they helped us initially get the company set up, and then they also made all the introductions through Enterprise Ireland to get us our high-performance startup. That was a tremendous foundation to get us off the ground.
To be nominated for this KTI Future Forward Impact Award, it's validation not just of the great research that's been done here in TU Dublin, but also of the hard work and efforts within our office.
The acknowledgement of other people appreciating the work we're doing really helps us to keep going.
The Mirai project started a number of years ago based on research coming from UCC in the Cork Cancer Research Centre. The project is very much based on patented technologies from the Cork Cancer Research Centre and is about developing electrochemotherapy therapeutics for cancers, particularly esophageal cancer and gynecological cancers.
Mirai Medical allowed us to bring the technology all the way through from preclinical through to clinical trials and then finally to commercialization and sales here in Europe.
The current clinical trial is called the Vector trial, and this is treating esophageal cancer patients. The 5-year survival rate for esophageal cancers is very low, so this is going to have a significant impact in the future.
Our ultimate goal is to be able to allow these patients treatment on a day case procedure. And that's what we've seen in our early clinical studies, which is why we're really excited and working hard to try and bring it to as many cancer patients as possible. The Tech Transfer Office were hugely supportive in terms of helping you to understand what's required in terms of setting a business up. That was hugely valuable to starting off on the right foot with the business.
So we're delighted to have received this nomination. To look at the progress Mirai Medical has made over the years has been fantastic.
It is a great testament to the excellent research that has gone on over the last number of years.
It's recognition of our technology and the good work that's been done by all of the team at Mirai Medical. We're hugely excited to receive that recognition.
Wonderful projects there and wonderful examples of collaboration at work. So, to the winner of the inaugural Future Forward Impact Award, let's see who it is. And the winner is Dublin City University and Inclusio. Congratulations to you, and I'm delighted to be joined by Richard Stokes, Director of Innovation at DCU. And the judges here really highlighted, they said that Inclusio was called out by the judges who were struck in particular by how much had been achieved in such a short space of time by the company. The panel also recognised the significant potential for future growth in the marketplace. The level of support and assistance received by Inclusio from the Innovation Office at DCU also ran throughout the full submission. So some really great commendations there. How does it feel to win this award, Richard?
Absolutely fantastic, Richard. We're delighted to accept it on behalf of Sandra and her two co-founders, Deborah Murphy and Arthur Labambo. And I think it's a great recognition of tremendous teamwork. This idea started when Sandra was the founding director of our Centre of Excellence for Diversity and Inclusion. And she brought the concept to us. We worked closely with her and with our colleagues in Enterprise Ireland, without whom this project would never have gotten off the ground, to crystallise it into a funded project and eventually into a spin-out. It's a tremendous opportunity. We see huge upside potential in it. The great management guru Peter Drucker many years ago said, "Culture eats strategy for breakfast." And I think he had no idea what the enabling technologies such as AI and cloud computing and so forth, software as a service, would bring about. Inclusio is one of those. We think it's poised to be really significant, and we're looking forward to seeing the success and the impact in the years to come.
Well, Richard, congratulations to you and everyone involved once again. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, we've seen some fantastic winners. We've seen some really wonderful shortlisted entries and projects. But now it's time for you to have your say. In the People's Choice Award, you'll see a polling tab on the right-hand side of the screen. Once I've announced the polls are live, then voting can begin. You'll see a drop-down list with all our projects from today. You click on the one you like best, and we'll open the poll for just 1 minute. It's all it will take, I'm sure, for people to have a think about the one that they feel is most deserving. So I'm going to open the polls now and basically think about the impact that was delivered by the project in question, consider the role played by the Innovation Office. Was there one, for example, where you were maybe a bit disappointed that they didn't win? You felt that they could have or should have won. You could also select the project that you would most like to see recognised. And just to remind you of the shortlisted entries across the 3 categories there, in commercialisation, we had NUI Galway and VTEX Limited, Royal College of Surgeons and Locate Bio. We had Trinity College Dublin and Inflazome. In the industry engagement category, we had Trinity College and Inishowen Rivers Trust, UCC, IPIC and Rockley Photonics, and UCD and Revlar Labs. And then in the future forward category, we had DCU and Inclusio, TU Dublin and Ocumetra, and UCC and Mirai Medical. So choose one of those, and we'll be closing the poll very shortly, and I should have a winner for you. The last vote's coming in there. Now, the poll has closed, I'm told, and the winner is Technological University Dublin and Ocumetra Limited. And I'm delighted to be joined by Paul Maguire, Head of Innovation and Enterprise at Technological University Dublin. Congratulations, Paul. Paul, you're the poll winner from the People's Choice Award. How do you feel?
Oh, I'm absolutely delighted to accept this. Not just on behalf of TU Dublin, but also on behalf of James, Ian, Kate, and the rest of the Ocumetra team. I know they're busy watching these awards in the Greenway Hub in TU Dublin in Grangegorman campus. So I'm really delighted. I think one of the great aspects of working on knowledge transfer is the opportunity to work on and with researchers and spin-outs that are addressing real societal needs. And Ocumetra are tackling one of these with, tackling the greatest public eye health challenge that we have, an opportunity which is going to improve the lives of so many people, especially children in the developing world, and I'm truly delighted to win this. Thank you very much to everybody who voted.
Well, Paul, congratulations to you and all of the team involved once again. The People's Choice Awards, it's always a nice one to win. And that brings us to the end of the awards part of this event. And congratulations to all of those who were shortlisted and to all of those who were winners as well. And I'd like to invite Alison Campbell back over to the podium to make some closing remarks. Alison, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Richard, and thank you so much for hosting our awards for us today. I've really enjoyed the last hour, and I hope the rest of you that have joined us have done so too. I'd really like to thank John as well for sharing with us the progress made by NBio and just being such a fantastic ambassador for knowledge transfer and engagement. It's so great to hear what's happened since the last time we saw him, and what would I say but keep collaborating. And our winners, what a diverse bunch. Biosciences, photonics, software for business, spin-outs, research collaboration, and creative licensing, all different. But what they have in common for me is the enduring nature of relationships, and relationships is something that John mentioned, didn't he? And the persistence and the professionalism of the innovation offices. It's a hard old journey, this business of commercialising research. It's a tough job sometimes working in innovation offices, and it does require that commitment, that dedication, and the just keeping going. And that's certainly something that the judges did recognise across the categories. So look, congratulations to all of you as winners. And of course, to those who were shortlisted. You know, we really weren't kidding when we said it was a hard competition. It really was. And I think the People's Choice shows that. You know, the judges don't get everything perfectly right all of the time. I also want to pay recognition here now to two initiatives that you haven't seen here, but that the judges wanted to particularly commend. They're both directed to supporting the creation of spin-outs from research. The first is the collaboration between Trinity, UCD and UCC in succeeding to get the second round funding for the University Bridge Fund, a fund dedicated to venture capital seed funding in the higher education sector. They got that over the line and they doubled the fund size, and the universities are investors as well. This is really important for the sector. And Maynooth University, who's introduced the Spin Up Science programme, which offers a very fresh approach to developing future entrepreneurs. Well done. Now, I must of course thank our lovely judging panel, who you all saw at the beginning. They took a lot of time out to bring their experience to the table, and they took time out to read through all of those submissions properly. They were incredibly thoughtful about the way that they approached them, and they were just great fun to have around the table. So a really big thanks to them, and particularly those who are joining us at the awards ceremony as we speak, including somebody who I think is joining us from Thanksgiving. You know, as I looked across all of the submissions, I have to say, I was honestly wowed, may I say again, by the results that's produced from research commercialisation in the system that we have here. I was really, really touched by the level of support and commitment that we're seeing from the research community, from the leadership in our universities and our institutes, and the people in the innovation offices who are really making sure that we see that success happened. So you can imagine I am very delighted that we heard this month that Enterprise Ireland was committed to a new programme of funding that will succeed the current TTSI programme. And that's going to help support the innovation offices in the universities and our newly emerging technological universities to play their role in a whole system of supports that's geared to driving innovation from research. Now, a little brief indulgence for me. I just want to turn away from the awards just for a moment and send my own personal vote, a vote of thanks to Declan Weldon. Declan will be leaving his role heading up corporate partnerships and knowledge exchange at Trinity tomorrow. Our loss is Scotland's gain as he goes on to head up innovation at Glasgow University. Declan has made a major impact, not just at Trinity, but also to the landscape of research commercialisation generally. I shall certainly miss him and his candid exchanges. We wish you well, Declan. Good luck. Now, I haven't finished with my thanks, of course. A huge thanks goes out to me, to our team, and most particularly to Elizabeth Carville and Rowena Elliott for delivering these awards. I get the easy job of standing here. There is a shocking amount of effort that goes into this, and they've pulled out all of the stops this year. It's not been particularly easy, and I am truly grateful to them. Thank you, Elizabeth and Rowena. And to the people who've joined us for the awards this afternoon, from industry, academia, from our very various agencies and the innovation offices, and of course, as I mentioned, our judges, I'd really like to thank you for tuning in and for your continuing involvement. We can only achieve the kinds of successes that we've heard of today by working together and working for a common purpose. And I'm truly grateful to see that that's something that we have here. I'd really like to take the opportunity to send my thanks and personal gratitude for the support that we have from our departments, the Department of Enterprise and the Department of Further and Higher Education. And that's been particularly prevalent this year. I really like them to thank them for their support to KTI and for the work that we do as part of this bigger system that we're a part of. And now I can bring the awards to a close. I wish you all a very lovely evening and thank you again for joining us. Goodbye now.